Welcome back. The United States Supreme Court has decided to let a ruling stand in the 2017 police shooting of a Charlotte man. CMPD officers shot and killed Ruben Galindo at a northeast Charlotte apartment complex. Officers were there because Galindo called 911 to turn himself in and then told police that he had a gun that was not loaded. Video shows what unfolded when officers arrived. That's what you're looking at here. Department leaders said that they opened fire because Galindo didn't drop his weapon when told to. His family later filed a lawsuit against CMPD and the city of Charlotte, claiming a language barrier played a role in his death. Let's bring in Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Cliff Rhodes to the conversation. The Supreme Court decided not to take up this case. There's a lot to discuss here. First, what led to the ruling and kind of what's next?
Well, you got to look at it like this. First, you had this incident that individuals were able to see just now, and the shooting happens, and then the mother of his child and his fiance at the time decides to file a claim with the city, and it goes to the United States District Court here in North Carolina. The district court judge decides that their case will be dismissed on all counts, finding that qualified immunity, that high threshold, that high burden that you're needed to jump over to be able to bring a lawsuit individually against an officer was not met. And because it wasn't met, he dismissed their cases. Their attorneys pivoted and then go file this to the 4th District, the Court of Appeals. And then that circuit said that they would dismiss one count, but they upheld and vacated all of the other dismissals. And so that reinstated the case. Then what happens is the other side appeals it to the Supreme Court and hope that the Supreme Court would pick it up. The Supreme Court doesn't pick up every case. I mean, it's extremely low numbers of cases that they do pick up. It seems like today we're talking about, oh, they picked up this case for abortion. They picked up this case for Trump. But normally that doesn't happen. Overwhelmingly, they decide not to grant cert, granting an opportunity for their case to be heard. And that's what happened here. Once they denied cert, the case goes back to the underlying decision that happened at the Court of Appeals. And now their case can move forward.
All right, so the body cam video that we just saw here, it clearly shows that he had his hands up. But as I was reading the story, I just realized it said that he did not drop the gun when he was first told to.
Yes.
So in a case like this, if you don't drop the gun when they tell you to drop the gun and you later drop the gun, is that how that can come into play?
The issue with qualified immunity in this case is that they had to be in imminent fear of bodily harm. That right now my life is on the line and I'm making, these are all split-second decisions. And so we all can play Monday morning quarterback and say, look, the officer should have did this or he should have done this. But if you think about it, this individual called law enforcement, said, hey, he's highly intoxicated. They said 3 times the legal driving limit that he was impaired with at that time of the incident. But what they said is he called and said, I have a firearm. I want to turn it in. I have no bullets. He said that multiple times. I have no bullets. I have no bullets. I just want to turn it in. Can somebody come here and take this gun from me? Officers told him at the time, dispatch said, leave the gun in the house. When he got to the door, you can see that he was raising one hand, but he didn't have his other hand showed. When he raised the other hand, the testimony was that he had the gun, not in the shooting position, but upside down. And he was holding it with his fingers in the air. Officers in their affidavit, and this is what his attorneys allege, is that they felt that he was holding it in a pointing decision. Again, Monday morning quarterback, it's dark, you really can't see anything out there. But the video, and this is what the Court of Appeals said, you can clearly see in the video that he's holding the gun upside down, not in a threatening manner. And so there were a number of contradictions between that, and they cited that as a reason that the district court judge erred in his decision to dismiss the case. Because you can't be in harm if a person can't fire the weapon at you.
And we watched this video together. I had a lot of questions when I first saw this video because what you're able to clearly see, I guess what I want people to understand, especially after they've watched the video, how can the case just be thrown out?
That standard is extremely high, and I understand why. It's because you put these people in the situation, officers, to protect and to serve and to go out there and put their life on the line. And that is we can second guess every decision they make that are happening in real time. I mean, they got there, it maybe was 10 to 12 seconds before they landed there and ended up shooting him. And so that's a short amount of time to make a decision right on the fly. Now, you would hope that their training would help them in that situation, and oftentimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But the hurdle to get over qualified immunity is so high that oftentimes these types of cases involving law enforcement officers are dismissed because you can't get over the threshold of did they meet that burden of jumping over qualified immunity, and most of the time they do not.
Cliff Rhodes, I appreciate your insight on this. Yes.